name is Lisa Williams, and we are so excited to share with you the importance of prospecting.
So first and foremost, we've got some amazing content to get through today. But in order for us to really make an impact, in order for us to get you excited and make sure that you start to take some action leaving the genting arena and implementing it into your businesses, we need to do one thing. We need to forget what's happened previously, what's happened in the past, especially some of maybe the negative things within your business or previous things that's happened in your life, because it will just keep you there.
So we're going to talk to you about prospecting today. And the beauty about Forever is, like Zoe's just said, it doesn't matter where you're at, it's about where you're going to. And today you can make a decision to decide to make a change. The beauty about Forever is that everybody starts at the same place. Everybody has the same opportunity, and we all have the same marketing plan. So on screen is a bucket, which you might think is a bit odd. However, I want you to imagine that this bucket represents your business. You are the person who controls how much water goes into that business. And the water is the activity and the level of consistency that you put into your business. However, along your journey, we're going to get challenges. So holes will appear in your business. But how important are your goals? How important is your vision for what you want your business to create for you? Because the level of your consistency and the level of your action will determine your success, whatever success looks like for you. We've heard a lot about the action, and it really, really is so important. So obviously, holes will emerge. That could be little things like you might go to a business presentation and your guest doesn't turn up. Who's had that happen before? Yeah, that's a hole in your bucket. The first 5 people that I shared the business opportunity all said no to me. That was 5 holes in my bucket immediately. But when I got my pack and I saw what the Forever Living opportunity was doing for others, I believed that there was no difference between me and the people who were creating success, other than the time that they'd been in the business and the level of consistency and the level of action that they had put into their business. When I started my business, I was desperate, really desperate. I was looking to earn £800 a month. And for that reason, that was to keep the roof over our head. So when I got my first Steps to Manager book, and I looked at the opportunity, I knew that recruitment was absolutely essential. In Forever, we've got 2 types of businesses. The first one is the retailing. And the retailing is the solid foundation. Sharing the opportunity is the bloodline of your business. If you want it to continue to grow and you want a business that will last you forever, it's so important that we consistently share the opportunity. So I've been with Forever for 42 months. One commitment that I made was that I was going to make sure that I shared this opportunity every single day. And that's what I've done. So I've had over 5,000 conversations, which does seem a lot, but actually, when you break it down into the time that I've been in the business, it breaks down to 5 people a day. So on screen are my business stats when it's linked to recruitment. And I've sponsored 104 people, but I've had 5,000 conversations. So what does that mean for me? 4,896 people said no. That was 4,896 holes in my bucket.
Crazy.
I could have easily turned my taps off and stopped the water flowing into my bucket. But I didn't, because I'm focused on my goals and I'm focused where I'm going. And I know that sharing the opportunity is our bloodline. It needs to become a way of life. And the more you do it, like anything, the better you're going to become. If I was to go out and have a run tomorrow, I probably wouldn't be able to run from this end of the stage to that end of the stage. But the more I did it, the further I would get and the better I would become. And the more mentally stronger I'd become and physically stronger. So it's like anything, practice, 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 and you can do this. You might think, well, it's all right for her. She's been on the holiday, she's got the car plan, she's had the checks. The pin position means nothing, or where you're at today means nothing. It is literally educating people about an incredible opportunity that we have. I've already received no's this week. Who's had a no? Brilliant. You know, so it just goes to show that because I've got a sapphire pin, people aren't going to say yes. So please don't think it's all right for her. So out of that 104 people that joined my business, what happened? 54 of them did absolutely nothing. Who's had somebody join their team or their business and they've done absolutely nothing? It's like a hole in the bucket. It really is, but you know what? That is not your fault. And please don't take it personally. And please don't think it's not working, because it will work as long as you keep the water flowing and you are consistent in sharing the opportunity. How do I know this? Because I've got my stats. What that left me with is with over 40 people that did do something. 25 of them used the products. 8 of them developed a supervisor position on the marketing plan. 1 assistant manager, 12 frontline managers, and that 12 duplicated over the 3.5 years that I've been in the business to a downline of 42 managers. And that is all down, I believe, to being consistent. Ensuring that sharing the opportunity becomes a way of your life and speaking to people every single day. Do not let opportunity slip. We have to share it, we have to educate people, and we have to let go of the outcome of whether they say yes, no, join, and do nothing. We just do it. It becomes a way of life. So what's that given me personally? It's given me 26 years of my life back. You know, money is important, and forever can pay you extremely well, but you're only on this planet once. Now, last year, by being consistent, Forever gave me 26 years of my life back. They paid me what would have taken me 26 years to earn in my day job in 1 year last year.
Wow.
That's 26 Christmas Eves I didn't have to work in retail. That's 26 years of not asking the boss, can I have this holiday, and fighting for the half terms with all of the staff that I used to work with. That's 26 years of creating memories with my family. So think about that. Are you consistently sharing this opportunity? Because if you can do that for you and your family, how would that make you feel? And it's not hard. You just have to do it every single day. Wrap it around your life and let it become a way of life. And there it is, the wheel of fortune, the forever living business cycle. This is your wheel. This will create your fortune and your destiny. and the reason why you started your business. So what I would say to you is, are you really connected? Are you really connected to your goals? The reason why you got started? Because what is it that is going to make you get out of bed and talk to people about our opportunity every day? And if you're not emotionally connected, what will happen? You'll do it a few times. You might do it for a few weeks. You might go around that cycle for a few months, and you'll get holes in your bucket along the way, and you'll think, can I really be bothered? You need to be so connected to why you're doing this. And I think what I've observed, and one thing I would like to point out about the business cycle, is that I think people get to a certain point and they stop going around it. So for example, you might recruit somebody, which is fantastic, and then you might recruit somebody else, and then you think, brilliant, I've got 2 new team members, I can just sit back now. If you want a business that is going to last you forever, you have to keep going. You just share it. Make it a way of your life. Develop a habit like you brush your teeth every day. Every morning we get up and brush our teeth. So is this a habit that you're developing? It could be that you're going around that cycle and you think, oh, brilliant, I've got a few people that have said they're interested and I think they're going to join at the end of the month. And you stop going around it because you've got all of your hopes built up on these people joining. And every time you stop going around that cycle is wasting time for you and your goals and where you want to go. So the message is go around it all of the time, no matter where you're at. If you've got people joining you, still do it, because you will go on to build a really phenomenal business. Yeah.
So it's super simple to build a phenomenal business with Forever, but success is very much in the consistency. Consistency will, without a shadow of a doubt, always be intensity. So we have our networking incentive pin, and me and Lisa both agreed that we think this is the most important incentive that Forever has to offer, as well as the 4Case credit pin as well. So I can genuinely, honestly say that if you have this incentive pin and you have this beautiful yellow suitcase, you will be a manager within Forever. I would be very, very surprised if you have level 3 network and incentive pin and you're not a manager. In fact, I'll prove it. Can we have the house lights up for a second, if that's possible? And can anybody just stand up who's achieved level 3 network and incentive pin for me?
Who's got a case?
Woo! Give them a round of applause. So we've got Hayley Ledbetter. She's in my downline, she's a senior manager. Give us a wave, Hayley. Chairman's bonus qualified. Who else have we got?
It's hard to say.
We've got Ginny Harrop, senior manager.
Oh, we've got Kyle
Chairman's
Burrows.
bonus qualified.
Nicola
Charlotte
Evans.
Fridmore, also
Rachel
senior
Tully.
manager. Thank you so much. So you can see the different levels on screen there, and to put it simply, it's just on average recruiting 2 people into your team per month. So hands up if you're going to achieve that yellow suitcase, who's been so naturally demonstrated by my beautiful assistant, by this time next year. Who is going to be manager this time next year? High five the person next to you and tell them that they can do it as well. Because you'll see it says on the screen there that on average, 1 in every 5 people that you sponsor will go supervisor. So if you don't keep that consistency going, you're going to notice those holes in your buckets that Lisa was talking about. And if you follow to level 3 network and incentive pin, you'll have recruited 24 people within a 12-month period. Now that should at least get you 4 supervisors, but let's just say that it gets you 3. You can see on the screen there, if you have 3 supervisors, that are holding a 20 case credit business, you've got 60 case credits there. If you do the maths over 2 months, what does that make you? Manager! So you can all do it. By this time next year, I want them to sell out of yellow suitcases. So let's talk about how we're going to do it. You need to make it a way of life, like Lisa says. It's all about looking for opportunities. And you need to always be looking at using 3 methods of contacting, because it will really build you a solid foundation. So if you're just using one of the things on screen, I urge you to get out your comfort zone and start to utilize other methods, because it will really build a strong foundation to what you do. My 3 manager lines that I have within Forever, one came from a networking event. One came from social media, but it was a referral of a customer, so make sure you ask your customers for referrals. And it was also through contact marketing, so you can see that I'm very much diverse with the different methods that I use. In fact, Megan, who's on the screen there, she's a senior manager frontline to me. She's one of my closest friends now within my life in general. We spend most days together. And she's a senior manager within the business. I could have decided that at 6:30 a.m. in a boot camp that I wasn't going to be that happy and friendly and bubbly, and I really wasn't going to speak to her about what we had to offer. But I did. And look at what that's done for mine and also her lives now. She's got an absolutely phenomenal team. You can also see as well Claire and Lisa. Lisa met Claire at a stall. She could have decided that morning, do you know what? I'm not sure I want to go do this stall. Woo! She could have decided that, do you know what? Maybe I'll do it another day. But in 5 seconds, we made those decisions that we were going to do those activities. We were going to take those opportunities. And she's also a senior manager, chairman's bonus qualified, and has also built a phenomenal business. So, you won't feel comfortable at first. I always say to my team, when you first started your job, did you know everything? No. Did you feel comfortable? No. So why is it that when people come in Forever, they go, oh, well, I don't know everything yet? And I'm like, that's okay. You're going to learn as you go. And you will feel uncomfortable, but the more you do it, as Lisa mentioned, the easier it will become. So impacting somebody when you're speaking to them and when you're prospecting actually doesn't always come from what we say. In fact, in 5 seconds, if you're in front of somebody, they're going to decide whether they're actually going to listen to you and take note of what you're saying or not. So body language is incredibly important. What vibes are you giving off? Are you somebody who lights up the room when they walk in, or are you somebody that lights up the room when they leave? You've really got to analyze what you're doing and what your body language is giving off, because as you can see, 55% is determined by your body language. 38% is actually established by your tone of voice. So I could say to Lisa, I've got a really rubbish business. Oh my God! I need to share it with you.
Tell me.
See? Tone of voice is important. You could say, my dog's just died. She would be excited no matter what came out my mouth. You know it, right? When you speak to someone and you can say completely the wrong things, but they just join your excitement. And this is often what happens in the very early days of your journey, when you're just ignorance on fire, as they call it. 7% when you're in person is actually determined by what you say. So I really want you to relax completely about what you're saying to people. I'm going to coach you through a very, very simple method. And I know from today that you'll be leaving here feeling so much better about this. So you can start to get excited about sharing our opportunity and really helping people make some changes in their life. So you can also see when you're not in person, which can happen if you're on the phone, maybe you're using social media. Tone of voice is huge. It really, really will impact people. So the likes of social media, I love using voice notes because they're going to hear my excitement in my voice. Again, on the phone, if you're sat in a room that doesn't make you feel good, you're not going to feel good. If you're hunched over, your tone is not going to be great. So you've really got to put your body language when you're speaking to people to make you excited. So seriously, do not worry. I am going to coach you how we do it. And you'll probably find me absolutely bonkers by the end of this slot if you haven't done already. But I'm actually going to relate this to dating. And the reason why I want to do this is because I've recognized in my team that they found this area stressful. Can anyone agree with that? Anyone found this area maybe a bit anxious? They're worried about it with the prospecting side. So I really want you today to understand that it needs to be enjoyable. It needs to be lighthearted. And I coach it to my team this way. So we have the contact, which is in the business cycle. For me, this is the flirting stage in relation to dating. So you've got to be yourself. You need to be super, super patient because you're never, ever going to get to know somebody really, really quick. It will take a bit of time. And you're going to have to build rapport with them. So this will totally depend on the relationship you have with the person you're talking to. Let me give you an example. For people who are very much in your warm market, you've got a very, very strong relationship with them, you might not need to go through this form method that I'm going to coach you because you've already built the form. For example, Emma Cooper and Lisa Prescott, they were best friends when Emma started Forever. So she could literally say to Lisa, in their language, get your butt round to mine tomorrow, bring £200, I've got our ticket out the police. Because she knew what she wanted. She was a best friend, so she trusted her. They had such a strong relationship, so she could speak to her like that in that language. However, for people who you don't know so well, or maybe you are rebuilding a relationship with because you haven't seen them in a while, you're going to have to rebuild rapport. And I had a really funny conversation with a team member the other day because they were saying how they'd spoke to somebody, they'd not spoke to them in a while, they didn't have a clue what they were doing nowadays, and they'd gone straight in with the business the first time they'd contacted them. And to put it really bluntly, I basically said, you've kind of just got into bed with them on the first date. That's exactly what's happened. And she was like, oh, I get it. So we need to build rapport. So the first thing to do is find common ground. It's really important because it's what brings people together. Now, if you're out and about, the first thing that you always have in common with someone is location, which is why we always say, oh, isn't the weather nice? Or this is such a brilliant venue, because it's so easy to create conversations that way. If you're a mum, I'm obviously not at the moment, but if you are a mum, which I know there's lots of mums in the room, you might meet somebody who's got a kid, and you've got that in common with them straight away, so you can utilize that to connect with them. So you're going to use form, and this is where you're going to start to ask questions, because questions will absolutely provide you with the answers that you need. It will allow you to make this area of the business so enjoyable, so relaxed, and you'll get the results that you're looking for. So as you can see, F is for family. So it might be that you start with this stage, you ask them questions about where did they grow up, where do they live. It's not going to be an investigation, so it needs to be natural. But I met a lady in town. I was buying some food literally just earlier this week, and we were both at different sides of the queue. So I was like, you go first. And she was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah. I was like, where are you from? Your accent's amazing. She was like, I'm from Newry in Ireland. I was like, no way. Oh, we got some Irish in the house. I was sat in front of them. Love it. She was like, I'm from Newry in Ireland. I was like, no way. I went to Newry in Ireland for the first time in May. I have friends over there. Instantly, what did we find? Common ground. We found something that both related and connected us to each other. So naturally, I started to ask her questions. She was buying food in town, and she was dressed very smart, so I went in with occupation. I said, "Are you on your lunch break?" She was like, "Yeah." I said, "What do you do?" She was like, "I'm a solicitor." I was like, "Oh my God, no way. I bet you love it." Because no matter what they say, if they tell you they're a dustbin man, no offense to any dustbin men in the room, you are going to say, "I bet you love it," because they'll tell you generally what they don't like about it. So you can then go with a recreation. What do you enjoy doing in your spare time? And this might not happen just over one conversation. So you've really got to relax and just be patient. But you're going to form a profile about this person. You're going to find out what their wants and their needs are. So I might have found out with that solicitor that actually she's got 2 girls, which she then told me after she said she was a solicitor. She also told me that she works really long hours. The other thing that I had in common with her was my sister's a solicitor. So it doesn't even have to be common ground that relates just to you. It can be also people that you're connected with. So after finding out lots of things about her, I actually said, "Are you on Facebook? We might have similar friends because Newry's a small place." And she was like, "Yes." So I added her on Facebook. And what I tend to do is I then will deliver the message later that day or the next day. And all you do is you'd say, "If I," and then edit their wants and dreams. So if I could show you a way where you could work much more flexibly around your little girl, but still build an incredible income, would you be open to meeting for a coffee and having a chat? How simple is that? I know what she wants. I know what her hopes and her dreams are. I know what drives her. So it's so, so simple for you then to be able to go in with the business and not have to jump into bed with them on the first date. It's so, so simple. So then all we're going to do is we're going to set up the one-to-one. So out of every 12 people that you speak to in your warm market, you're roughly going to book in around 6 one-to-ones. And if you're speaking to a lot of people, but maybe you're not getting them in, please ask your upline and get them to help you check over what you're doing. So this is the show. This is, in my eyes, the first date, the one-to-one. This is where they can start to see a glimpse of exactly what Forever's about and what it has to offer. Timing is key. So with the one-to-one, you need to really have fun. I laugh right way through my one-to-ones with people. I really enjoy it because at the end of the day, you never ever want to convince someone to join this business. If you convince them to join, you'll have to convince them to work. And that's never ever a good place to be. So as you will probably realize, I'm sure many of you have dated in your lifetime. Not every first date goes to plan, right? Sometimes you don't want a second date with the person. And that's exactly how our one-to-one goes. So you might have 6 one-to-ones. Actually, to just find one person who would like to go on a second date, and they're going to come to our business presentation. So this is, again, something where you can completely relax. We have people in the business who give up their evening to do everything for you. And this is where you're going to just say to people when the end of the presentation comes, now do you see how working alongside me and Forever, you can achieve ... Enter what it is that they're looking for, their hopes, their dreams. So, like I say, timing is key. If you can't get a one-to-one in with somebody in a couple of days, their excitement's going to go. So you need to utilize things like our links. So there's lots of selfie links out there that I know people have done, but there's an amazing Your Future link that Forever have just released for us. Isn't it incredible? We're so lucky, aren't we, the amount of tools that Forever provide for us in the UK. So you can then utilize something like that to send them over so that they can take a glimpse of what it is you're trying to show them before their excitement goes. What I would also recommend is you bring an international directory, you bring a brochure, some samples, of course a sign-up form to your one-to-ones, a big smile, and also a positive energy. We've also got Faces of Forever. Again, how fortunate are we in what the UK put together for us? And this is really important, especially with what I was talking about with Common Ground. So I had a one-to-one with a yoga teacher. I'd never done yoga in my life, so I couldn't relate to this woman. I could relate to fitness because I've always been into my fitness, but I knew that we had an amazing yoga teacher within Forever, and you heard from her earlier today, called Natalie Valenti. So the first thing I did when I got home was I went onto Faces of Forever and I sent her Natalie's link. That then ended up making her want to join the business. Because with my information that I'd shown her and the backup of seeing somebody who's a yoga teacher within the field already been successful is what it's all about. It's stories that are the most powerful, similar to the products. So like I say, timing is absolutely everything in Forever. Are you in Forever Forever? Are you in Forever Forever? Yes. So make sure that you go back to people. Lives change, people change, and it's so important to be confident about what we're involved in. If somebody ever says to me, in fact, there was somebody who said to me something, "Oh God, it's not forever, is it?" And I was like, "Oh, why? What have you heard? Have you had a bad experience? Tell me more about that." So any objections that you get, ask questions, because questions, again, will give you the answer. And always use feel, felt, found. So if somebody says, "You know what, I just don't have the time, Zoe." Well, how much time do you think this is going to take? Ask a question. Don't try and convince them. Just ask them where their head's at, what's going through their brain, and then simply use feel, felt, found. Do you know what? I know how you feel. I work with lots of mums like you, and they felt exactly the same way, but they found that this actually was so flexible to fit around their kids and what they were currently doing.
So, are your tools in place? You are running a business, and behind on the screen are the tools that you need to get super, super organized. The more organized you are, the more efficient you will become. None of us have got impeccable memories, so we have to write things down. The most important thing that you bring to your business is your who do you know list. This is your network. You are a network marketer. So you should have a handwritten who do you know list. I carry this round with me wherever I go. And then what I do, as I'm contacting people, I will put them onto my activity tracker. The people that go on my activity tracker are people that have said, "Yeah, let's have a look." So I might have had a coffee with them, I might have taken them to a business presentation, whatever that looks like, they will go on my tracker. Now what you need to remember is that people will sit on this tracker for a long time. Some of them might come straight through, but again, as Zoe's just said, are you in forever, forever? If you're not organized, you will forget things. And I know this because in January of this year, I had a one-to-one on the telephone, but I was out, actually, I wasn't at home, and I forgot to write that information down. What that led to was me driving home one day and thinking, "Oh my goodness, I didn't follow up with that girl that I was meant to follow up with. I must do that when I get home." When I did, guess what? Because I didn't follow up when I said I was going to, she found that her next door neighbour did Forever Living, and she joined her. I think she was actually in Claire Spencer's team. But that's, I didn't spit my dummy out and think, well, that's not fair, because that was my fault. That was my mistake, and I'm not going to make that mistake again. So really, just make sure that you're documenting everything. The more information you can get down on paper, the better, and the more organized you are, the better too.
So it's important to never ever prejudge. We've shared with you 2 stories based on our personal journeys of people who we've really helped, that we've built amazing friendships with, because their lives have incredibly changed because of the opportunity that we took right before our eyes to share this opportunity with them. So sometimes it's the smallest of decisions, the tiniest decisions that will really transform your business and take it in a completely different direction.
And everything comes back to the action that you decide to take every day going forward. Remembering why you're doing the business, why it's important to you, what are your goals, what are your dreams, why are you doing it every single day? And the consistency is absolutely key. So please keep that tap turned on.
So next time you hesitate, just remember that Zoe Stewart
And Lisa Williams say
fill your buckets,
keep your tap turned on, and let go of the outcome.